Hey guys, it's Leslie from Blue Pumpkin Vinyl. Just coming at you real quick to show you a video tutorial. There's been some questions regarding our top zipper bag, top zipper bag, and I just wanted to do a really quick video tutorial to show you just how easy it is. It is only 6 steps. This is the blank one, so if you have one of ours that has the designs, obviously there will be design steps, but just in constructing the bag, there's only 6 steps and 2,439 stitches. Super quick, super easy. So we will start with our, in this case, it's our 5x7 blank zipper bag. We are going to use a medium weight tearaway. Some people will like to use a cutaway, especially if you're adding a lot of extra design elements to the bag. But this is just a simple medium weight tearaway. Hooped, we have our vinyl and our zipper. Sometimes I will just use the printed vinyl for the front of the bag and a solid vinyl for the back, just because it's a nice way to try to make your vinyl go a little bit further, but we're just going to use one sheet and get it done zippity quick. So let's get over to the machine. There we go. We have our design already loaded. So we're going to put this in and we're going to run our first step. So this first step is the placement for your zipper. All it is a rectangle to show you to place your zipper inside of it. Super simple. Don't overthink it. I think that's basically our biggest problem, is we tend to overthink things and we tend to think, well, it can't be this easy. Trust me, it's this easy. So what we're going to do is, and I will show you once I get it in there so you can see it, no problem. All I'm doing is placing it inside the rectangle and I'm securing it with tape. I like to use blue painter's tape, but you can use Scotch tape if you want. You can use whatever floats your boat. All right, so this is what we have. We have our rectangle that was stitched, and literally all we did was place our zipper inside the rectangle and secure it with tape. That's step 1. That's your very first rectangle. Put your zipper, tape it. All right, we're putting it back on our machine and we're going to run step 2. Step 2 is going to secure each side of the zipper. All right, as you can see, both sides of our zipper here and here are now secured. Okay, so now we're going to move ahead to step 3. Now remember, there's only 6 steps. So if we're moving ahead to step 3, like we're halfway done. So if you want, now's the time. You can pull that tape off if you'd like. Please always remember to be gentle. We sometimes forget that these stitches, especially while it's still on the tearaway, is gentle. So be gentle when ripping or cutting the painter's tape off. I'm just using my little scissors. I cut it in the middle of each, and then I'll gently pull it off underneath. And you can save it to the end. I mean, it's a little bit more annoying to try to get off. And, you know, maybe you'll have a different way that you're going to secure your zipper. Okay, so here we are. Our zipper is secured. Now we're going to run step 3. Step 3 is going to show us where our bottom part of our zipper bag is going to go. Okay, as you can see, it's making a really nice big rectangle. Now, a lot of people have asked, how come you don't do sizes? I like to cut my material before I do my project. This is where personal preference comes into play. Every designer, much like every cook, every chef, does things differently. I personally do not like to give measurements ahead of time, and the reason why is with measurements you have to build in an edge, and that sometimes limits you, especially with scraps. And if you've played with any of my designs, if you spent any kind of time in my group, you know I love to use up every single piece that I have, every single scrap of vinyl. And whatever scrap comes from a scrap, I'm going to find something to do with the scrap of a scrap of a scrap. So I personally don't give measurements because I feel like it is a lot of waste for your materials. Especially because right here is the size that your vinyl needs to be. You can look at it, you can go through your scraps, you can be like, oh my gosh, I have this perfect piece that will fit this. And if I had to give you a 1/2 inch on each side, you wouldn't have it. So, all right, what we're gonna do is we're going to place our vinyl in the rectangle, butting it up against the zipper. Can you see? We're bringing it right up against the zipper line. Where this is going to stitch, you can already see, and you know there's a little bit of edge right there. So we're going to bring it right up. If you want, you can just measure the length of the width of the bag and cut your vinyl. You can even just cut your vinyl in half if you want and do it that way. So I'm using a seconds piece. So I am going to cut it. So I can use, there's a part of it I would like to use. I want to make my edge be more of the design. Instead of just using the edge that was with it, I wanted to have a cleaner edge of the design. I personally wouldn't use a temporary adhesive for this, excuse me, only because when you want to pull this off the hoop and turn it right side out, you don't want sticky adhesive. So just give me 1 second and I will show you, I promise. Like I said, I was doing this video really quick on the fly, and my video production crew has a daytime job, so this is just me and a camera. All right, so I just added my vinyl. As you can see, I butted it up against the zipper. I just added a couple pieces of tape to the edges, and now I'm going to put it back on my hoop and run step 4. This is going to do a triple stitch. I'm sorry, I said I was going to run step 4. I meant I was going to run step 5. This is a triple stitch that's going to go around, securing your vinyl. Making sure that it's good and stitched. Super simple, super quick. These little zipper bags are a great little gift, especially if you know what they like, what they're into. You can make one of these bags, put a gift card in it, little candies, fill it, with things that make them happy. And then it's just like this really nice, thoughtful gift. Okay, we're almost done. It's going to pull up my tape at the same time that it's stitching it, of course. Isn't that always the way? So, we're going to pull the tape off real quick. And then we'll resume. Okay. Okay. Now we're on to our very last step. However, let me go ahead and point out that if you are doing a zipper bag that has a design on it, maybe the Tootsie Roll, maybe the police, after this step would be when you do your design. So refer to your stitch map or your machine screen as to the next steps you would do if you were doing a design on your bag. If you are just doing a blank bag, your next step would be to do the back. But with all the zipper bags in the entire world that you do in the hoop on the machine, the thing you do right before you put the back on is open your zipper up, because the very last step stitches the bag closed. And if your zipper is out here when it stitches it closed, you do not have a bag that can open and close. You now have a frustration and a headache. So what you need to do is take this zipper pull and pull it, I don't know, halfway, whatever. Just make sure it's out of the way. There you go. Our zipper is now pulled out of the way, and we're going to put our back on. We're going to put the two pieces right sides together, so it'll look like that. So here's the two right sides together. That's it. I am going to secure it with some more tape because vinyl can be slippery, and with the machine moving and needle stitching, I do not want the vinyl to shift and get all crooked or not stitched properly. This would also be a great time if you wanted to use a solid piece of vinyl instead of printed. So there you see. I put my tape on, right sides are together. I'm going to put it back on the machine, and I'm going to run the very last step. And all it's doing is going completely around the bag, basically stitching it shut. And this bag is only 2,439 stitches. You have the rectangle, the tacking of the zipper, the placement for the bottom, the tack for the bottom, and then the back. That's it. Super simple. A lot of times people ask, do I put the zipper facing up? Do I put the zipper facing down? Every time you create a bag, you're typically stitching the front of the bag. You are creating the front of a bag. So everything's going to be right side up. So we are just finishing our stitch close. And this has only taken 16 minutes, but you have to remember, I got a little distracted in talking to you about other things, especially in the beginning when we were talking about stabilizer, and as well as why I don't give you pre-measurements. So this bag, if you're on a roll, this bag really should only take maybe 10 minutes tops. Okay, so guess what? Aside from you get to see my mess here, our bag is done. Our bag is completely stitched. Right before, here's a pro tip, right before your very last step, after you move your zipper over, would be the time that you could add a little tab along the side, and you could take a piece of your vinyl, just trim it, fold it, lay it on the inside with your raw edges together, and then when you flip it, your little tab will be on the outside. That's just a little something extra. I'm not... Well, my dogs wanted to say hi as well. That was just something a little extra that I wanted to add. I'm not trying to muddy the waters. Just wanted to add a little extra information in case someone is feeling spunky and wants to try it. Okay, so we've unhooped it, and now we're going to trim and remove our stabilizer. One thing I want to caution you is, a lot of times, especially with the tear away, we are ready to tear away. Well, the thing about tear away is, its whole job is to help stabilize your stitches. So if you pull too hard, you're gonna rip your stitches. That's just, I mean, it's a fact of life. So what you want to do is you always want to try to tear at an angle, and you want to tear slowly, or you can use scissors. So we're just kind of tearing it gently, going around here. This thread is completely normal. This is our thread from our placement. So don't freak out if you see that. So we're adding a little bit of support on the stitches as we pull. Okay, so now we're going to trim, and I like to use my rotary cutter when I trim. It just creates a really nice, clean edge. Now, I was talking with a dear friend, Kim, and she was talking about how she does her zippers. She likes to leave her zippers a bit long and only trim what's necessary. It helps to give your bag some extra structure. So you're not cutting away everything that the bag is trying to hold on to. You can also use your rotary cutter up here. You just have to be careful because the bulk of the zipper makes it to where your ruler isn't going to lay flat. Okay, so now we're going to, and you can cut. I would just leave this a little bit longer, or you can fold this up. There. Just do that. Okay, so now you're probably like, well, where is my zipper? Your zipper's under this tearaway. And even if you used cutaway, that's okay, because you can still cut it away. So all you're going to do is pull up your tearaway, and you're going to go very gently again, keeping in mind that these stitches count on the stabilizer. It stabilizes your stitches. All right, there we go. Finish cutting thusly, and so rip it away. Okay, so now we have our opening, and we'll just stick our hand in here, and we'll fish this out, and we'll push it to give it the bag a bit more opening. And now we turn. Some people like to put their bag in the dryer on low for just a hot second. A hot second not meaning temperature hot, on low, but you know, really quick, to help soften the vinyl, especially if the vinyl is particularly stiff. If you are curious about all the different types of vinyl and how you can treat them, especially if you plan on putting a whole bunch of stitches on it using interface, I have a video in the group. I did a whole Tuesday tutorial on it. It's a bit long, but there's a lot of different vinyls to cover, and I didn't even get to cover them all. So that might be worth a peek at, especially if you've created a bag and you noticed that your needle cut the vinyl instead of stitched it. There are things that you can do. Okay, so now would be the time that you pull the cutaway, or excuse me, tearaway away from, and again, going slow, not stressing out this stitches, and then again, and these threads are normal. These were your placements. Trim those. Oops. Okay, so now we are going to turn the bag, and we're just going to go slow. Now is not the time to rush. There we go. Zoom it out a little bit. I was like, wow, that seemed really up close. Okay. And we're moving in small areas. We are working with it. We are not forcing it. You can see our progress. We got a little corner down here. And we have a little corner over here. And then we have our zipper up on top. You do have to bring it over. Okay, so now I'm going to get my little tool. And I'm just going to carefully apply a little bit of pressure, pushing and turning. Not a lot, because, you know, I'm sure you've been working with fabric, and man, oh man, you can poke a hole in fabric. That's for darn sure. You can poke a hole in pretty much anything if you try. So, check our corners. Make sure they're all the way through. Oh, we got a little extra string thread here. Let's clip that. There we we go. Okay. I'm just cutting some extra threads. You can see here, when you look at the bag, I have not finished pushing that out yet. So, let me fix that. And you can tell, there you go. Sometimes turning them takes longer than stitching them. That is especially true if you're trying to go slow and you want to make sure you do it right. Because the last thing you want is to get to the very end of your zipper bag and poke a hole in it or be hasty and ruin your project right at the very end. How cute is that? So simple. And if you have any questions, just send me a message. It's up to you. You can trim this if you want. You can trim that if you want. But that's all there is to it. If you have any questions, shoot me a message. Let me know. I'd love to hear from you. I hope this was a help, and I hope you're ready to make billions and billions of zipper bags. All right, guys, I will talk to you soon. Thanks for watching. Bye.